November 13th, 10 ISIS operatives attacked Paris, targeting bars, restaurants, a concert hall, and a stadium, shooting as many people as they could before blowing themselves up. By the end of the massacre, the worst terrorist attack in Europe in a decade, 130 people were dead. Now, for the first time, CNN has gained access to thousands of pages of documents and photos from the internal European investigation, which shed new light on the sophisticated network ISIS uses to coordinate terror attacks across Europe. The documents reveal another suspected terrorist, never before made public, who investigators linked to the cell that carried out the Paris attacks. He was on the loose in Europe for more than 6 months. Other ISIS operatives are right now believed to be living among ordinary citizens in Europe, plotting other strikes directed by senior ISIS handlers in Syria, according to multiple sources. Within days of the shocking rampage in Paris, police learned that 2 of the 3 suicide bombers at the Stade de France stadium entered Europe by posing as Syrian refugees. These surveillance photos, never seen before publicly, show the bombers as they approach their target. This is the moment they detonate their devices. But according to the documents, 2 more men were part of the ISIS cell. They traveled the same refugee route as the suicide bombers, blending in with thousands of people from war-torn countries. Their names are Adel Haddadi and Mohammed Ousmane. They were eventually arrested, and records of their capture and interrogation obtained by CNN show how ISIS supported the attackers throughout their mission. This is their story, based mainly on multiple interrogations of Haddadi. Early October, 6 weeks before the Paris attacks, the documents show their journey began in Raqqa, Syria, the capital of the self-declared ISIS caliphate. The men didn't know each other's real names or what their mission would be. According to the documents, Haddadi later tells investigators he only knew they were being sent to France to do something for the good of God. Much of their journey was directed by a shadowy ISIS leader in Syria known only as Abu Ahmed, who arranged meetings, cell phones, money, and transportation for them. Jean-Charles Brizard is a French expert on terrorism. We asked him to analyze the documents obtained by CNN.
Abu Ahmed is clearly an ISIS operative. He's key in sending those individuals, at least the foreigners, into the Paris attacks, because he's the one who recruited them, who financed them, who trained them, who provided electronic devices to them, telephones. He was always in contact with them.
According to the transcripts of interrogations, Haddadi and Ousmane, along with the 2 Paris attackers, traveled from Raqqa across the Turkish border onto the coastal city of Izmir, switching vehicles, picking up cash, passed from one smuggler to the next along the way. They receive instructions from their ISIS handler in Syria through encrypted apps such as Telegram and WhatsApp. Throughout their journey, they're only given enough money and information to get to the next stop.
ISIS is accelerating its international attack planning. It's increasingly sophisticated in the way it does this. It's set up an intricate logistical support system for these terrorist cells throughout Europe.
In the middle of the night, the team makes the treacherous crossing to Greece in a boat filled with dozens of refugees. They're picked up by the Greek Navy along the way. The 2 bombers who would eventually attack the Paris stadium make it through and start moving steadily north toward their target. But Haddadi and Ousmane's fake Syrian passports are discovered. They're arrested and their money is taken. They're held in Greece for about a month. Greek officials would not say why they were released, but authorities believe that delay was significant. They would not have a chance to become part of the Paris attacks. Haddadi tells investigators they contact their ISIS handler Abu Ahmed, who arranges another 2,000 euros for them. Flush with cash, the pair continue along the refugee route. As they work their way across Europe, Ousmane, identified by investigators as a bomb maker from a Pakistani terror group, passes the hours doing something strikingly un-Islamic, looking at porn. Documents show he visited almost 24 porn sites on his phone. November 14th, the day after the Paris attacks, Haddadi and Ousmane arrive in Salzburg, Austria. They apply for asylum and end up in this refugee center where they stay for weeks. According to CNN sources, authorities now believe that Haddadi and Uzman were not only part of the same terror cell as the Paris bombers, but also that they were planning another attack. The documents show that they were in contact with people in several European countries and were researching travel to France. Investigators believe they were waiting for a third man to join them, a mysterious ISIS operative called Abed Tabauni. Tabauni has never been publicly named until now. Like Uzman and Haddadi, he traveled from Syria along the refugee route, carrying a phone number linked to the terror cell of the ringleader of the Paris attacks, according to the documents, as well as a photo of Islamic State fighters standing before their flag. December 10th, nearly a month after the Paris attacks, Tabauni finally arrives at the refugee center where Uzman and Haddadi are. Later the very same day, police raid the center. Uzman and Haddadi are arrested. Here's what happened next, according to the documents. In the scramble, Haddadi tries unsuccessfully to get rid of his SIM card. Tabauni is nowhere to be seen. Haddadi denies knowing him, but investigators find this: Tabauni's cell phone charging right beside Haddadi's bed. It has Haddadi's phone number saved in it. Also in that phone, a photo taken just 30 minutes before the raid. It shows Tabauni sitting on a bed in the refugee center right next to where Haddadi and Uzman slept.
We can assume that Tabauni was also part of the same plot and was instructed to carry out an attack.
From the time he slipped away last December, Tabauni has been a wanted man, according to CNN sources, who also confirm he was finally arrested in July. The documents show this is the Facebook page Tabauni had on his phone, and in recent months it appears he was publicly posting updates from Belgium. Investigators are now analyzing 1,600 pages of data from his phone, and sources tell CNN they are moving to extradite him to Austria and to tie him to Haddadi and Uzman and the Paris attackers. Are you concerned that there may be many others who use the same route who you just didn't know about?
Yes, we've seen that in the recent weeks. Several of them, individuals who carry out individual attacks, inspired attacks, were coming back from Syria using the same route.
So there's a possibility that there are many more that you just don't know about.
There is a high possibility.
The documents show Haddadi's phone has also proven to be a treasure trove for investigators, revealing an ISIS network that fanned out through southern and northern Europe. He had dozens of contacts. Some gave advice on crossing borders and evading the law. One tells Haddadi that he was able to sneak into France by hiding in the bathroom of a train. December 15th, 5 days after the raid, ISIS handler Abu Ahmed reaches out to his operatives Haddadi and Uzman, perhaps wondering about their silence. "How are you?" he writes. "What's become of you?" There is no reply.